It is Bridget Jones meets Uncut Gems, is the brief description. It's a week in the life of an estate agent in London, who gets in way above her head, and how she tries to navigate a way out if she possibly can.
I play a lettings agent here, a rental real estate agent, and she's brutal, with narcissistic tendencies, obvious vulnerabilities, but outwardly aggressive, with huge blame complex and not many good qualities. Yeah, that's her.
I play Dan the man, banker Dan. He's a wannabe gangster, if you will, a guy who just, gets in over his head and, thinks of himself as kind of your traditional hard nut gangster, but really isn't. And psychologically just dwindles out of control when he realizes he's gone too far.
Yeah, I think it came from a couple of areas. I was always wanting to do a female-led character. So my previous 3 films have had a strong central male character. So I felt I was really, that part of me was calling, but I wanted to make someone that was as deeply unpleasant as all the male characters I've made films about, or someone that I like the idea of pushing someone so far that you dislike them, but the people around them are even worse, so that then you do go on that journey with them, and you do hopefully care about them by the end of the film, even if they do the worst things. And Polly did this job as an estate agent quite a few years ago, so we used to talk about her experiences of doing this job, not for any reason of this would make a great film. It was just there was lots of interesting characters and what Polly had to do as that in that job, and what the corners they cut, and how they used to sell houses or lettings, wasn't it? It was lettings. How they used to go into places and build places up when they were clearly awful or whatever. So I knew that she could really play that character incredibly well. So then I created someone also who, slightly different from Polly, had a bit of a potty mouth, and just tried to push that person as much as possible, but still in the realms of someone that she could relate to. And there was also a film called The Small World of Sammy Lee, which is a London film set made in the 1950s, which was a week in the life of a small-time crook that had lots of people after him. So it was the stress of that. But I felt by switching it, and they were both that was set in Camden as well. So we filmed it in Camden. So there was a nod to that. But yeah, that's it.
We can all draw on ourselves. Which I think she can be relatable. I hope she's relatable too. I can relate to her sometimes, her anger at a greater power who's trying to press her down. I can't relate so much to the fact that she operates entirely alone. She's, she's racing, and the blame complex she's got. I don't know if I've got narcissistic tendencies. He wrote it for me. I mean, with me in mind. But yes, I think she's relatable too. When you understand that people operate in their own bubble, and if they're pushed, then anyone can sort of do anything, I suppose, is what it means. So you'd be surprised at what can happen if you're pushed to your limits. I think.
Gerard and I had made a film previously together called Muscle, all set in the world of weight training and steroids and kind of self-improvement, but the dark side of self-improvement, I would say. And that was a great experience. Gerard's an unusual filmmaker and almost imports a sort of documentarian style to his work, and I kind of found that quite liberating. And I'd been a fan of his films before, Hyena and Tony. In fact, we met at a test screening of Tony, and I kind of got a sense then that he was going to tell very raw, interesting, often male, but not always male stories, and often London-centric stories, and this is a London-centric story. So it wasn't really that hard for me to consider being involved. I knew that we'd make something exciting and dynamic, and I think the idea of having a female protagonist on this one as well just made it that little bit different.
I had a wisdom tooth taken out the day before I was flying to South Africa on a flight. So the pressure caused dry socket, and nobody really heard of it. But they call it the heart attack of the mouth. So it just causes this awful pain. So I had to go to an emergency dentist in Cape Town. It was awful. I was like trying to look at locations and and everyone was enjoying lovely food, and I was just holding my mouth. I was like, if I can get it into a film sometime, that horrible experience. But just from the off, yeah, you're in a dentist chair of the film, it opens up, and just that. Yeah, I didn't want to make. We worked on how far you push that. You know, you don't want to like. It did come and go, the pain. I remember it. It did come and go. So sort of, there are moments when she's highly stressed, she might hold her mouth, but
there was a sort of constant sweat, a constant dull ache, I think, that helped with the anger.